Good day and welcome to Mayor King's TV News. Now to begin the news, here are the headlines read by Tamiela Emanuela. Oborevwori promises enhanced transformational leadership in Delta. Oborevwori approves registration and monthly payment for 10,000 widows in Delta. Delta clinches 5th consecutive victory at National Sports Festival. Federal government restates commitment to youth empowerment and social inclusion. On entertainment, Okonjo Iweala and singer Tems listed among 100 most notable peace icons in Africa. On the business news, federal government signs deals with 10 companies to boost gas supply. On the foreign scene, Trump administration to aggressively revoke visas of Chinese students. Plus, Erik ten Hag targets 2 Man United stars as first Leverkusen signing. Now the news in full. Delta State Governor Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori has assured that the remaining 2 years of his administration would be marked by continued transformation, leadership, and development across the state. Speaking at the 2025 Delta State Thanksgiving and Praise Day, held at the Event Center in Asaba on Thursday, Governor Oborevwori expressed optimism that the state strategic alliance with the federal government, being one of the top contributors to the nation's revenue, would yield even greater dividends for the people of the state. He thanked Deltas for their support, unity, and commitment to the state's peace and progress over the past 2 years, assuring that even greater development laid ahead. Meanwhile, Governor Oborevwori urged Deltans to continue praying for the state as it progresses on its path of peace and development. The Governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, has approved the registration of 10,000 widows across the state's 25 local government areas and the 270 federal wards. Each widow will receive a monthly stipend of 15,000 naira and access to free medical care. This was disclosed by the Executive Assistant to the Governor on Social Investment Programs and State Coordinator of the Widows Welfare Scheme, Chief Dr. Isioma Okonta, during a meeting with state, senatorial, and local government coordinators held at his office in Asaba. Chief Okonta described Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's initiative as a laudable effort aimed at supporting vulnerable and impoverished widows in the state. According to him, the gesture will not only enhance the well-being of the beneficiaries, but also alleviate their financial burdens, demonstrating the government's strong commitment to the social welfare of all Deltans. He further noted that the registration and selection process is ongoing and strictly non-political, cutting across all religious affiliations, as Governor Oborevwori is a leader for all Deltans. To ensure a transparent and itch-free registration process, traditional rulers, president generals, religious organizations, and community leaders will be actively involved. This initiative is set to run throughout the duration of his tenure, reflecting his administration's commitment to social welfare and inclusive governance. Delta State has once again cemented its status as Nigerian sporting powerhouse, emerging champions of the National Sport Festival for the 5th consecutive time. The triumph was officially announced by Bukola Olapade, chairperson of the main organizing committee for the Gateway Games 2024, during Thursday's closing ceremony in Abuja, Ogun State. Although the final medal tally is yet to be released due to the pending conclusion of the table tennis event, Delta State had already secured a commanding lead, making its overall victory indisputable. With a commanding lead of 122 gold, 96 silver, and 105 bronze medals, totaling 323, Delta's dominance remained unchallenged. The state's consistent success reflects years of sustained investment in sports development, athlete training, and youth empowerment programs. However, in a stunning turn of events, Ogun State surged past Bayelsa to move into the second place on the medals table. While the intense competition for the runner-up spot remains captivating, the final official medal table is yet to be released. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to empowering Nigerian youth and promoting human rights and social inclusion as key drivers of national development. Speaking at the launch of the Good Governance Advocacy Programme tagged Voice Hearing Action in Abuja on Thursday, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Lanre Issa-Onilu, emphasized the vital role of young people in shaping Nigeria's future. Represented by the agency's Director of Youth Research, Engagement and Inclusion, Onyema Ngozi, Issa-Onilu described youth as the powerhouse of the nation. He also referenced the recently adopted national anthem, describing it as a symbol of renewal and unity, and called on young Nigerians to embrace it as a rallying point for patriotism and collective responsibility. Issa-Onilu further pledged the agency's continued support for civic education initiatives and youth-led advocacy efforts, urging young people to engage policymakers, participate in development projects, and drive positive change from their communities. Now on entertainment. Grammy Award-winning Nigerian singer Temilade Openiyi, popularly known as Tems, and Director General World Trade Organization Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala have been listed in the 2025 100 Most Notable Peace Icons Africa. The list, which contains several eminent Nigerians and other Africans from different sectors, was announced at the Unveiling News Conference by the organizers on Wednesday in Abuja. Egyptian footballer star, Egyptian footballer Mohamed Salah of Liverpool FC is also on the list. Ambassador Kingsley Emefiebe, Project Director Africa, 100 Most Notable Peace Icons Africa, said they made the list for their commitment to causes that promote development and peace. According to Emefiebe, the peace icons are Africans drawn from different backgrounds who have used their talents, positions, and resources to build and promote peace across the continent. Also, the 2025 Peace Icons will receive the award at the 100 Most Notable Africans Leadership and Business Summit scheduled for July in Kigali, Rwanda. The event themed Leadership Frameworks for Governance, Business Growth, Investment Opportunities and Sustainable Development in Africa will bring together economic experts, government officials, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and other stakeholders to foster inclusive decision on Africa's economic growth. Now on the business news. The federal government on Thursday signed agreements with 10 companies for the construction of gas processing plants and other gas supply infrastructures. The joint venture investment agreement was signed in Abuja between the Midstream and Downstream Infrastructure Fund (MDIF) and the gas infrastructure promoters. The agreements include the Joint Venture and Operating Agreement, the Joint Venture Equity Agreement, and the Joint Venture Accounts Agreement. Speaking at the event, the Minister of State Petroleum Resources and Gas, Ekberikpe Ekpo, said the deals were part of the government efforts to unlock the full potential of the gas sector. Ekpo stated that the agreement reflected not only the alignment of national priorities with practical action, but also the profound dedication of fostering growth, enhancing energy security, and building a resilient economy for generations to come. However, in a related development, the federal government yesterday launched Project CNG Sprout that would see the setting up of CNG conversion and refueling infrastructures in 20 universities across the country. Launching the project in Abuja, Minister of State, Petroleum Resources and Gas, Ekpo, said it was part of efforts by the government to provide cheaper mode of transportation for students and staff of the universities. The project will the project, which is also funded by MDIF, will provide CNG powered buses and tricycles for transporting the students. Now on the foreign scene. US President Donald Trump administration has declared it will aggressively revoke the visas of Chinese students studying in the US. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said in a statement the move would include those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party or studying in critical fields. Rubio added that the visa criteria will also be revised to enhance scrutiny of future visa applicants from China and Hong Kong. Recalling the relations between Beijing and Washington have dropped in recent months as a tit-for-tat trade war erupted between the two superpowers sparked by Trump's tariffs. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has already moved to deport a number of foreign students while revoking thousands of visas for others. Although many of these actions have been blocked by the courts, it has also frozen hundreds of millions of dollars in funding for universities. The president says some of America's most elite institutions, such as Harvard, as too liberal and accuses them of failing to combat racism on campus. Now, in the world of sports, Erik ten Hag has expressed interest in signing two of his former Manchester United players after being appointed as head coach of Bayern Leverkusen. Ten Hag was announced as the new Leverkusen manager earlier this week and takes over Xabi Alonso, who left the German club for Real Madrid. It is Ten Hag's first managerial role since he was sacked by Manchester United at the end of October. Bayern Leverkusen won the Bundesliga title last year and finished second behind Bayern Munich this season. But Ten Hag has a big job on his hands with Leverkusen's squad set to be picked apart by major clubs this summer. Liverpool are working on a big money deal for Florian Wirtz, while the Premier League champions are also expected to sign Jeremy Frimpong. In another blow to Ten Hag, Leverkusen vice-captain Jonathan Tah moved to Bayern Munich was confirmed on Thursday. Wirtz's imminent departure will force Bayern Leverkusen to bolster Ten Hag's attacking options, and two Manchester United players have been discussed internally as options. German outlet Kicker claimed Ten Hag is interested in signing Anthony and Alejandro Garnacho from his former club. However, Garnacho has been told by Manchester United boss Ruben Amorim that he can leave the club this summer. Now to end the news, a quick recap on our headlines. Oborevwori promises enhanced transformational leadership in Delta. Oborevwori approves registration and monthly payment for 10,000 widows in Delta. Delta clinches fifth consecutive victory at National Sport Festival. Federal government restates commitment to youth empowerment and social inclusion. On entertainment, Okonjo-Iweala and singer Tems listed among 100 most notable peace icons in Africa. On the business news, federal government signs deals with 10 companies to boost gas supply. On the foreign scene, Trump administration to aggressively revoke visas of Chinese students. On the world of sport, Erik ten Hag targets two Man United stars as first Leverkusen signing. That ends the news as read and edited by Tiniela Emanuela. Thanks for watching.